Welcome back to the One and Only podcast. This month, for the month of March, we have had on the one and only Willie Fleming from the Hillhead Holsteins herd, just up there at Annan. But before we get into that, Glyn, how are you?
Great.
Great.
Looking forward to meeting Willie. Yeah, looking forward to, I think he's quite a funny guy, and
Yeah.
I think he'll be quite good. He runs a great business up there. He
Runs a tight ship.
He does, but he's got a great head for genetics, and he's a good farmer, and yeah, interested to see what he has to say.
Good. What else has been happening in the month of February?
February, it's a leap year, isn't it? 29 days in February. It seems to have flown in. What did we do? Highlights, well, Six Nations.
Well, yeah, I'll agree with you on that actually.
The guys in green have been phenomenal. I've enjoyed that.
Right. And when this podcast goes out, you might have gone all the way, but you might have just got...
I've got the Six Nations winning shirt
behind you, yeah.
in my office.
So we get an updated version?
I might just get another one.
Just get an updated version.
Yeah.
And what happens if your second favourite country, which surely must be the one you reside in?
They'll come second.
Okay. We might. It's possible.
They're not going to beat Ireland, are they?
No, but we hopefully will beat Italy.
You'll beat Italy, but Scotland are second already.
Yeah.
Scotland are second.
We got a wee bonus point with Italy.
Just think if the referee had got the French game right.
I know.
Just think.
I know,
you know.
We have to move on. We can't live in the past. Come on. So other than rugby, what else has been happening?
Oh, we visited. We had a half-term break with Hazel and the kids up to Arran.
Oh, nice.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Arran's lovely. It's a lovely island.
Completely switch off, not think about work and cows.
Well, a couple of phone calls.
But
it was really nice. It was there was snow on the tops, and a few nice days up there.
Very nice.
I highly recommend Arran to anyone who wants to go and visit it. It's a lovely little, lovely island.
Yeah, it is. It is underrated. I think it's getting a bit of a rough time with the ferries and all that kind of stuff now, isn't it?
It was we actually couldn't get on, so we went up towards Campbelltown, that road, and I don't know, the little short ferry on, but getting off, we ended up in Troon. We thought we were going to...
Oh, God.
Ardrossan.
Because of the weather?
No, just because...
Not enough ferries or whatever.
The ferries are in chaos.
Oh, God.
That was good, and other than that, we've just the normal sales have been going really well, and getting out and about. We've just a lot to do. The run into Expo, so everything's full on at the moment. Yep. What about you?
Nice. February, what has happened in February? I can't believe it's passed already. I don't think there's anything particularly exciting happening in my life in February, has there? It's going to be quite embarrassing if it has and I forgot to mention it. I'm back training for a half marathon. Going to run Ibiza in 6 weeks' time, so I'm excited for that.
Well, Willie is a marathon runner.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did not know that, no.
Well, we'll have to ask Willie about his running.
We will.
He doesn't do half marathons.
No. I'm just playing at it then. I'm just playing at it.
You're going to, in Ibiza?
In Ibiza, yeah, because I'm sick to death of running in
the
cold,
rain.
Horrible, misty, miserable UK. So
that'll be nice. It won't be too warm.
No, it'll be like maybe sort of 20 degrees or something like that. So that'd be nice. And other than that, yeah, just kicking about it at home and work and things. Yeah. It's we've recently went viral on TikTok with Harrison and Hetherington. Give them a follow if you don't already.
Oh, and but she that was quite funny. We've a weekly meeting, and Laura filmed this last week, and I was first here, by the way, waiting on everyone, and I thought, where is everyone? Huh? So I made a coffee, I had a phone call, and then I was portrayed as coming in late. Irish and auctioneer thinks he's early. Look it up. I'm bitter about it.
You went viral though.
Have I?
To date, 34,000 views.
Holy moly.
Which is ridiculous.
That's unreal.
But I don't think... Oh no, Scott, to be fair to him, was early, which is never happens, but the rest of you were all late.
Yeah, just.
You were all late. You were all late. But anyway, let's get into this episode.
Okay, hi everyone and welcome to the March edition to the One and Only. This month we have a super guest. It's the one and only Willie Fleming from Hillhead Farm with the Hillhead Holstein prefix. Willie?
Good afternoon.
Hello.
All right.
Thanks for coming in, Willie. Yeah.
No, thanks for asking me.
Before the cameras went on, you were a bit nervous about what we're going to talk about, so am I now. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about who you are, Willie, where you farm, and maybe a little bit about the history of Hillhead Farm. Growing up, the previous owners were quite
Big Holstein breeders, yeah.
Yeah, and with a big name. But yeah, tell everybody who you are and where you farm.
Willie Fleming, obviously at Hillhead Farm, maybe 20 minutes north of the market here, just across the border. We've been at Hillhead for just over 21 years, having moved down from Lesmahago, which is in Lanarkshire, just about an hour north. Farming partnership along with mother and father, although they're both, it's fair to say, they're more than semi-retired. Kind of.
Do you think of politely?
Well, I don't do so much anyway. We currently milk about 340 cows, with about 370 in total, through 6 Lely robots.
Robots again. This is the third dairy farmer they've had on, and these all use robots.
That's the way to go.
Does nobody work anymore?
Well, look, he's down here.
I know.
Yeah.
My husband will be sleeping on the sofa because he's been up that long.
Your husband's always sleeping on the sofa.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
Yeah, so we've had the robots in for 5 years, and it's quite a big change. I think it's fairly helped the cows. Like, our production has gone up, and health is probably a bit better. But it's maybe not made it easier on ourselves. Like, it's still quite a lot of work. It's just a different way of doing it.
What was the transition like from you were twice a day milking?
Well, we had been 3 times a day, and then we had a wee bit bother getting night staff, so we went back to twice a day, and that's what, we dropped quite a lot of milk when we went back to twice, so that's what's got us thinking about going 3 times a day, going to robots.
How long have you had them in?
Just over 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, so 2.5 years to go and they'll be paid, which is good.
Never looked back?
Sometimes, but you have to watch. I think with the robots, you have to stop saying this wouldn't happen in a parlour. When you get a wee problem or that, it can be frustrating at times, but
it's a different system, isn't it?
Yeah. I pretty much think it's the same work as twice a day milking, and you get a third milking. That's probably a decent way of putting it.
So in the 21 years, Willie, since you guys moved, what was your farm called up in?
High Borland it was.
So since you've moved from there, how much have you noticed the herd, like the evolution in the type of cow that you've worked with from then until now? Have you seen a change? Or have you had a different outlook on genetics?
Yeah. I was.
And has the robots played a role in that?
I definitely have. Yep. When we were at Borland, we were I was always interested in Holstein breeding, and at Borland we were in like a self-feed silage, cake in the parlour system. Averaging 6,500 litres. Yeah. And around about that time, I remember thinking, well, there's no point in us breeding for much production. So we bred maybe more for type at that time. Yeah. Thinking, there weren't health traits around then, so it was mainly, it was mainly your type. But that would be like around about 2000, late 90s. Yeah. And so we ended up using bulls like Gibson and Leduc, thinking they were good, but that was a mistake. So, you kind of learn a lesson that those kind of typey bulls don't work. But then when we moved down to Hillhead, we got a mixer wagon, and we gradually built up yield and built up numbers. We were milking 100 cows when we flitted down, and we kind of redid a lot of the old steading. It had been a dairy, but the dairy had gone off in '96, and we moved down in 2002. So we kind of redid a lot of the old sheds and filled them up. Then built a new shed in 2010. I'm rambling on here a bit much, but
no.
We're finding it really interesting, aren't we, Laura?
Yeah.
Hope you guys are too.
Yeah. So we built, but in the old sheds we got up to about 150 milking, and then built a new dairy unit in 2010. And gradually built up our own replacements, put numbers up to about 250, and then in 2018 we put the robots in. Yeah. And breeding wise, because we were getting more milk, I've always liked numbers, so.
Give us the numbers then, Willie, because you know every dairy farmer that listens to this. I did this to Will before. They want to know the numbers of your herd.
But maybe you're meaning more on the genomic side, are you? On indexes?
Yeah. I always liked indexes, but we did a bit of both for a few years. I liked the type, and I had a bit of interest in showing, and I also liked a bit of index as well. But as time has gone on, I've maybe swayed more towards the index. And
have you felt that's had a positive impact on the bottom line?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think for more than.
So what's in the figures that you pay a lot of attention to? What are they, Willie?
Well, I'll probably start off. I try not to get too. There's so much data in a bull's proof, you can get bogged down, and every bull's none of them are perfect. So I'll probably start at the top of the PLI rankings and then basically scroll down and rule out anything that's not robot suitable. With regards to teat length and placement,
that sort of stuff. Yeah.
There's like the four bottom traits, like front and rear teat placement, the udder cleft and teat length. If they're all around about 0, that's what I would call as ideal.
Robot friendly.
Yeah. And it makes. For the first year when we were milking through the robots, we were still calving in heifers that were by bulls that I maybe hadn't been paying attention to the robot traits. Yeah. And after those ones get calved and out the road, and the ones we're calving in that were bred for robots, it made life a lot easier. The attachment's quicker and
better milking out.
Aye, makes everything a lot easier.
Do you breed everything yourself? You don't buy in? You're closed?
Aye, we're pretty much anyone. Buy some embryos now and again.
But doesn't buy enough, really.
Doesn't buy enough.
Are all your females genomically tested?
Yeah.
And is that, how long have you been doing that for?
It's been 5 or 6 years now. Yeah.
So on that criteria, are you breeding all your females to dairy now? Are you making that a selection as well?
A wee bit. We probably don't breed enough to beef, but because we sell a lot of surplus, we probably breed 80% to dairy.
Yeah, you're still doing that.
Aye, and it gives you, if we selected which ones to get bred to beef on the genomics, we would probably still miss the odd one that makes a jump.
Yeah. You are right in that, aren't you?
Yeah. We do carry extra surplus, but then that was one thing when we put the robots in. I thought we were kind of, 6 robots, you can't, it's not like you can go and just suddenly milk another 100 cows or put numbers up too quickly. So the selling the surplus stock was another kind of income. We were able to get land and stuff, so,
It's just, you still do that now? You still sell heifers?
Aye, not so much through the market.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? We'll cut that out.
Yeah. Do you think, Willie, with moving to Hillhead, what I would call a really famous Colin Davidson was, do you think getting that prefix was a big asset to you and your dad at the time?
It probably helped. Aye.
I still think I still think it has quite a brand.
What's the story then?
Well, Colin was a famous Holstein breeder, really ahead of his time, in my opinion.
Yeah, he would he was bringing a lot of show cows earlier on, and then he would be very involved with premier breeders like the AI company. Yeah. So he had a lot to do with the Holsteins that first came in, and he would sell it with the big sales here and everything.
And so he sold the farm with the prefix, is that right?
He was kind enough to give us the prefix anyway after.
When you took the farm on?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that's great. That didn't happen often.
Do you have any other sources of income, Willie? What do you do? Do you have any other? You do a lot of public speaking, don't you?
A wee bit, not that much. So.
I
don't get paid for it anyway.
But you mentioned your father, but your father's Robert, and it's not Robbie Duncan, isn't that right?
That's right. Contrary to popular belief, that's right.
But you do like Robbie's obviously a very popular speaker, but you do a bit of that as well.
A wee bit, aye, but no, Robbie's almost professional at it. But I do a wee bit, but then I probably more enjoy. I've been involved. I used to really enjoy the Young Farmers concerts.
Yes.
And like, I would consider myself fairly shy, but then when I go up on the stage, I seem to enjoy it. Like,
Come out of your shell.
Aye, I like when I get a microphone in front of me. And once I finished doing Young Farmers concerts, because I was a member of both Les Mahego Club and after moving down Annandale, after finishing being in Annandale's concert, I produced it for a few years, and then back in 2018, Les Mahego had their 75th anniversary concert, where they invited past members back to be in it, and I was also asked to go back and produce one of a scene for it.
All right, yeah.
So I really enjoyed doing that, and it went pretty well. So they asked me back again, in the following years, to help produce it. And this year, this concert was maybe a fortnight ago, and I never produced a scene, but I wrote some of the comedy sketches and went up and helped with their comedy.
No, I always people that always talk very favorably about your speaking. So, and I've actually never heard you speaking after dinner speech.
No.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Really rate it. Anything else outside of farming? If you're going to say no, that is the common answer when I ask this question.
No, it's not. But I want you to tell. You're a massive runner. You're a
All right, aye.
Yeah. Bit of running.
Well, I have run.
What's your distance? What sort of distance do you like?
Well, marathons. I don't ferry about with half marathons, Laura. That's like
10K is just a wee joke. Marathon distances.
Aye, no, I don't. I'm not a big runner really, but I like the challenge of running. Like I did London Marathon last year.
I'm not a big runner, but I run marathons. You know that only 0.1% of the world's population ever runs a marathon.
Aye.
So you're a big runner.
You are a runner, unfortunately.
Was it pretty tough, the London Marathon?
Yeah, it's really tough.
What did you do it in last year?
Last year was 4 hours 27, and I knew I hadn't done enough training. I get bothered with shin splints, and last year, when I started training, not long after I started training, I realised that I couldn't stop coughing. I turned out I had asthma.
Oh God!
Which I had contracted after having COVID a couple of times.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's affected your running, obviously.
Well, it affected my training for it last year. So when I set off to run, when I set off the marathon this time, I thought I'm going to try and do it in 4 hours. That was my target when I started training. And I set off at 4 hour pace, and I got to 20 miles, and I was on course for it, and then I just fell apart.
Ran out of steam.
It wasn't my legs, it was my back and my chest and my head, everything was just...
How many times have you done marathons? How many marathons have you run?
That would be the third one. I've done London twice and New York.
Oh, you've done New York? Oh, that's cool.
International marathon.
Crikey, I'm not a runner.
Who were you chasing around? Did you beat Trump around New York or what?
Chasing him down to Trump Towers.
I don't know. I didn't actually see him, but New York was good. I remember
that would have been an amazing experience.
Aye, so I ran it along with Andrew Clark, Pandy, a good friend, and Pandy's wife Lindsay ran it, and we were running along. We were in our mid-20s, so we probably hadn't done enough training. You're not really a marathon runner until you're kind of late 30s or 40s, probably. That's your kind of the main age group for marathon runners. And Pandy was bored with his knees, and we got to about mile 15 or something, and he couldn't go anymore. So I stopped with him, which I shouldn't have done because I seized up after that. But I'm blaming him for that. But we were getting on a bit, and
this is New York.
This is New York, and we're walking a wee bit, and you run. In New York, it's really good. You run through all 5 boroughs in New York. You start in Staten Island, then go over to Brooklyn probably, or Queens maybe, and then through that, and then the Bronx, and then into Manhattan.
Does it go around the Central Park?
Yeah, it finishes in Central Park.
Yeah.
Okay,
Lovely.
And but we were walking through the Bronx, and this voice says, "You guys better start running. Nobody walks through the Bronx."
Did that give you motivation to start again?
Well, maybe for about 10 yards, and then you're like, "No, I can't do this again."
And your recovery drink of choice will obviously be
milk.
Obviously milk, yeah.
Is it? What's all this about?
So, well, this would probably be a nice little break, nice little lead into our little challenge that we've got here.
I'm a bit nervous.
So we've got 5 different types of milk here, and both of you being connoisseurs of milk, I want you to tell me what
He
varieties
isn't a connoisseur of milk. He's been at the Six Nations up in Edinburgh this weekend.
And it wasn't milk you were
I
drinking.
don't think it was drinking milk.
Still feeling the effects of it.
Oh, well, I would like to say this will sort you out, but I'm not sure it will. So we've got 5 different types of milk. You've got to tell me what you think they are.
So are they all milk?
They're all milk. Well, they're all milk. They're all marketed as milk because we're not in France where they say that unless it comes from a cow.
How long have they been sitting out?
Literally about 10 minutes. They've been in the fridge.
That's all right.
This looks like it's been through a California milk test thing.
I don't know. Is this no? You're selling some bull beef out there. Is that no a sample for?
Okay,
Is this the first one?
Yeah, I'll let you take the first one.
So we have to sample this.
Sample it and tell me what it is, what kind of milk it is.
Okay.
I don't really know.
I would say that's.
Well, I'm cheating a wee bit because I saw the bottom of his cup, and is that good?
Well, it's only got letters on the bottom of it, so
I would say it's like really skimmed milk, really thin, without any fat in it.
Got it in one? Skimmed milk, red top milk.
Yeah, I never drink that, but it just
Cow's red top milk.
It's not very good. That's what it looks like.
Not nice.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad, but it's not like.
No,
it's not great.
It's got no fat in it. Yeah?
Aye.
No, I had another drink. You must
not
have
bad.
bad. We'll see what you think. Let's go for this one next.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
I don't like that evil laugh.
Oh my goodness! What the? That's not milk.
It's marketed as milk. I bought it from the milk
There's
section.
not much to that at all, really.
It's like paint. It's like Dulux paint.
What do you think it is?
I don't know, I've tasted oat milk before, and I don't think it's oat milk.
It's not oat milk. You're right. It's not oat milk.
It'd be like all pro. No, is it almond milk then? Is it?
What do you see? What's on the bottom? No, it's not almond milk.
It's not milk.
It is milk.
Is it sheep?
Nope. You can't buy. I couldn't find sheep's milk in the supermarket. He keeps drinking it. It can't be that bad.
I know. That's really.
You might have possibly had it in a cocktail, maybe?
Baileys?
It's definitely no Baileys.
It's not Baileys. Where is Baileys? I need some Baileys.
Any guesses at all?
I have no idea what that is. It's not very pleasant.
It's coconut milk.
Oh.
So you might have had it in a wee pina colada.
No.
I think we've got some of that in the house. I think you know, put it and make a curry with coconut.
Yeah,
milk
yeah. Sometimes you can use it in cooking. Yeah, I use it in cooking as well. That's good. Let's go for this one.
That's quite sweet, is it not?
What do you think? What are we saying? Do we rate it or do we not?
It's not that bad.
It's milk. I think that's milk, isn't
You
it?
think it's milk? It's not that bad? Think it's okay?
I don't know. Aye.
I don't know what it is.
It is full fat milk.
Is it?
Straight from the tank this morning.
There you
Oh,
go.
like for yours?
Yeah.
That's real flat.
It's still flat milk.
Oh my
So I'm
goodness.
glad that he said it wasn't that bad. But clearly it wasn't that great.
It's, there wasn't much fat in it as mine. Like.
Okay, that wasn't too bad.
Okay, this one.
Even if that, oh, that's oat milk. That isn't
It's
it?
not oat milk, no.
It's something like that.
That's terrible.
Aye. That's like. It's some sort of grain milk, is it not?
Let me see this one. No.
Or is that nut milk? Is that what that tastes like?
I couldn't have another go at that.
Aye, that's almond milk. That smells of nuts.
It is almond milk, yeah. Unsweetened almond milk.
Oh. That's unpleasant, isn't it?
Some people pay,
Folk
well,
like that.
they do actually pay a premium. Do you know how much that is a litre? I bought a litre of it in M&S yesterday. It's £1.90.
I was going to say about £2 probably.
How much did Donald charge you for the out of the
He gave
tank?
me all the stats. I was like, I don't need it down to that level. He said, no, they'll ask. I was like, well, I'm sorry to tell you, they haven't asked on the stats. Right, see if you can get this one. I'll be impressed if you get this.
How much a litre was the trail flat stuff?
Well,
That's
he hasn't billed me yet.
No. That's goats.
Oh, is it?
How did you know that?
That's goat.
Is it?
It is.
I can smell the goat.
That's all right.
You can smell it.
No, that's goat.
Yeah, it is goat's milk, yes.
I used to milk goats.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Do you like goat's milk?
That was my first enterprise growing up.
Aye.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
It's an acquired taste, goat's milk. And it's not. That's not a strong.
Is it not?
It's not a strong goat's milk.
Aye, that's all right.
It's all right. Yeah, but you can. It's a. It's a slightly different taste.
Aye, it's different. Aye.
Well, there you go. I'm glad that you.
So
you would stick to the. Stick to the coos.
Yeah.
That's the cow one.
This was trail flat milk.
Yeah, it says on the bottom, does it? Yeah, fat.
But really, why are you putting? It's not. It's 96% fat free.
Well, I always have this argument, about marketing of milk. That when you like look at like meat, say it's 5% fat or 10% fat, or it's like, well, why don't you like milk is like
96% fat?
They say
free.
it's 3% fat. Why don't you go for a positive negative and say it's 96% fat free? And as a consumer, you'd be like, oh well, that's nearly 100. That's good for you.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these have been discussions for years and years, and I don't know why it's.
That was quite interesting. I didn't know what you were going to do. I didn't know what you were going to do.
Is it not in France though? You're not allowed to, you can't call it milk unless it comes from a lactating animal. So almond milk is almond.
You can't do it here either.
No, I think you can. Is it not called milk? Almond milk?
You can't. It's not.
I
milk.
don't know if it is actually.
Milk.
It'll be in the cabinet next to it.
Go and get the dictionary. What milk is?
I know. But in France, it's a law, isn't it? It has to come from a lactating animal to be classed as milk.
I think it's the same here.
Is it?
Because even that'll be called. Where's yours?
Yeah, that's almond.
It'll be like Alpro or something like that.
No, it's called almond. Yeah. Well, I've got the bottles here. Shall I tell you? Show you?
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think it's the same. I don't think.
Oh no, you're maybe right. Actually, there they are. Doesn't actually say. It just says almond, plant-based, vegan-friendly, unsweetened almond, high in calcium.
I feel sorry for them people that have to drink that pish.
I know.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't you like it?
Oh, I know.
Coconut milk, I think not the worst.
No, it wasn't. It was sweet.
I didn't get you unsweetened soya milk because it wasn't that nasty.
It's
yeah.
But then you know how this stuff is more expensive, obviously, than milk. And like we kind of always harp on that. Water's more expensive than milk and stuff. But the problem is that we don't sell the milk.
Exactly.
You can't do anything with it, can you?
Aye.
We need
it's poorly marketed, isn't it?
Aye. The thing that annoys me, like I sit in our reseller up to Millar and we're aligned to the co-op, and I'm in the co-op committee, and we go to co-op committee meetings, and they're always talking about demand for dairy, or demand for milk is dropping year on year. It drops 2 or 3% every year, and there was a spike over COVID when everyone was baking and stuff, but then it's dropped back again quite severely. But that just seems to be accepted, and I think we need to. I don't know how we get people drinking more milk.
Yeah, there's been lots of campaigns. Who's the guy that plays for Man City?
Erling Haaland.
Yeah,
I know. But even at that, I thought about this yesterday about Erling Haaland.
He says milk's the one for him, isn't it?
Aye, and he's a phenomenal goal scorer and everything. But as a problem, he's maybe just not good looking enough.
Not sexy enough.
Aye, if it was Ronaldo,
that was David Beckham, or
aye.
Yeah.
Well, then he's the best goal scorer in Europe. So
aye, but young lassies are not going to watch that, and it's them that. I'm not meant to be sexist here, but they'll buy a majority of shot.
Imagine he's watching this here. You're not a bad lad.
Yeah.
Like Erling. He's not bad. He scored 5 goals last night.
But they did a piece, was it last week, at the Farmers Weekly ran with a piece on the English rugby team, didn't they? And the guy, I don't know what he was called, but he said when he'd broken his leg, when you're younger, your mum always tells you to drink your milk to grow up big and strong, and he says it's right, it makes you strong bones. Like.
It was Joe Marler, I think, when he broke his leg. He drank like 2 litres a day.
There was also that milk ad. Remember, if you don't drink your milk, you'll end up playing for Axis and Stanley. Remember the 2 kids? No.
Accrington and Stanley. You were they?
Aye, the 2 Liverpool kids.
That's before my time gone.
You'd have heard people talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do think the marketing, the way you put it across,
England players drink milk?
allegedly, yeah.
Gee whiz, that's not a good advert for it, is it?
No,
No, that's right.
no. Well, I didn't like to say that. I didn't like to say that, but it didn't do them any favours at the weekend, did it?
No, right enough.
The Irish lads live on it.
Live on it. Live on it. But no, I think like the marketing of things, sometimes though I think if you focus too much on, you know, like vegans and all that type of stuff, they're actually quite a small minority.
Oh, aye.
But they
It's
make
just
a lot of noise, whereas actually the majority of, is it like 96% of people in the UK consume dairy? So it's very high.
Oh, no.
Whether not necessarily in milk, or like plain milk, but in dairy related products.
Yeah.
Aye, what's the stat? Is it not like so many like dairies? Per household, like the percentage of households that buy dairy is higher than the percentage of households that buy toilet roll or something.
Really? That's a worry.
I'm sure that's a stat.
That is very concerning.
But
Are you on the? Who do you sell your milk to, Willie? The
Millar.
Mueller
Aye.
through. Yeah. Are you on the Mueller board, or are you any?
No, I started in the Millar forum for
a
maybe
while.
3 years, which Donald's just going on,
He
isn't
has,
he?
yes, yeah.
And did you enjoy that time on the?
It's okay. It tended to be like a group of farmers kind of having a wee bit of a discussion and a bit of a moan sometimes, and then Millar would just come in and tell you what was happening. I got a wee bit frustrated by it that way, so I thought
It wasn't time well spent.
I didn't think so. Whereas I like the co-op. I like being on the co-op committee because we can influence our own contract a bit.
Yeah. And is that do you get in discussions like that about marketing and promotion or not really?
Not an awful lot, really.
Not a lot. Yeah. And you think that's something that farmers? I know you're busy milking cows, but I think farmers are great at promoting their own product. You know, is that something that?
It's maybe something for somebody younger than me. Like I know.
Do you get
Or
involved
is
with
it because
any...
you're not good looking or?
That's a bit rude.
Well, he said like.
No, he said the Liverpool player wasn't good. Do you get involved with any of the education side of stuff?
Aye, well I do. Like I was at a RET meeting last night. I'm a director for the Recent Galway RET.
Are you? That's a fantastic organisation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell a wee bit about it? Because actually, once you come south of the border, it's not
Nobody
not a lot of
knows
people know about it.
Well, I RET the Royal Highland Education Trust, and it's part of RAS, which is the Royal Highland Agricultural Society of Scotland. And RET really, if a school basically, or it does a whole lot of stuff, but if a school wants to go a visit to a farm, they do it through RET. That's the main thing that they do, but they also, I'm going into a class in Annan to do a class talk about dairy, and I think we're going to have a go at making some butter when we're in. And during COVID, I made a few videos and stuff and sent them into some of the local schools. And
So is it like primary age or like sort of, or any?
RET has mainly been primary, but they are starting to target more secondary age schools as well. I'm trying to get some of them out.
I didn't realise you actually went into the school, Willie. That's really, really good. Have you heard? What's that? Is it Farmer Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you looked into that?
Have you heard of him?
Aye, that would be great, but it must take a lot of time.
Is it once a week you have to do that?
I think Farmer Tom maybe does that a couple of times. Oh, Farmer
Tom, and then he's the
You mean
front
Tom
of it.
Pemberton? That
No,
does
no,
it?
no.
Oh, right.
So there's
I talk about Farmer Time.
No, Farmer. Well, he's called Farmer Tom. Maybe it's called Farmer Time, actually,
Farmer Time,
the initiative behind it.
So a farmer does like a FaceTime with a class.
Aye.
And you do throughout the year. So he just does. Oh, today I'm calving a cow.
Oh, right.
Or today I'm milk. So he FaceTimes with them, and he shows them, and then it's like for a 15-minute block. But they get to know him, and he gets to know the class. But it's him on the farm, and they're on the screen in the classroom. I think it's called Farmer.
There's Farmer Time.
I think it's good, but he's got about 4,000 farmers now across the country doing this 15-minute block.
All right, that's maybe slightly different to Farmer Time.
Yeah, he's called Tom Martin.
He spoke at the CMEX conference.
All right, okay.
And I thought, what a wonderful way to connect with the consumer.
Yes.
And it was building up. It wasn't just one visit and the kids kind of forget. It was like throughout that whole term,
and they could follow.
They build up a relationship with that farmer and get to know about his farm and about food and where it comes from. He sort of wanted more farmers to become involved in this. I thought it was
It's a good initiative because
It's a
everyone
really
has a
good initiative.
Everyone has a smartphone in their pocket.
It's quite. There's a few Cumbrian guys, and even a few people who would be a little bit. Some of the older people are a bit put off by FaceTime, but they're really, once they get into it, they're really good at it. They're really good.
Well, it was Farmer Time I had signed up to, and I got paired with a school in Islington, in South London.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I did maybe half a dozen video calls with them, but it was quite difficult because it must have been quite a big school. So I was walking about on my phone, and I had like three classes like all on my phone at a time. So it was really hard to gauge any reaction from them
or get any engagement. Really.
Yeah, you couldn't. It was difficult getting questions back, and they were.
Did you have subtitles on for the London kids or not?
Well, no, that was another thing.
Yeah.
We didn't care what you're saying.
No, but they'll have probably never heard a Scotsman speak.
No, I know. And they were used to. I think they're near where the school was. There was like a city farm, so most of the questions you would get every time was, what other animals have you got? Have you got hens? Have you got goats? Have you got this kind of stuff?
That's what they relate to as a farm.
Aye,
I wasn't a working farm.
Yeah. What was the general reaction then to a dairy farm when?
I don't know. It was all right.
Yeah.
The best thing I think that I did with them was I got them to, luckily just before one of the calls, there was a cow starting to calve. So the calf was born when we were there, and I got them to name the calf.
Oh, so they enjoyed that.
Aye.
Yeah.
And it was we have a family that are named after trees at home, and I try and have a different tree for every calf, so they got to pick a tree. It was actually coconut that they called it.
Was it? There you go.
That's great.
Yeah, well, I think it's important though, if people are intrigued or people are interested in any way, to try, to engage with them and try and get more farmers and more people in industry to engage, because as you say, like, they're the professionals and they know their job inside out, and they're the best people to tell you about it.
Do you enjoy getting into the school doing that? You'll be really good at that. Yeah.
I do like. It's like talking about farming, but at a basic level, which is that I can cope with, and it's in detail.
There'll be some great questions from the kids.
Aye.
Do you get any pushback? Do you ever get any children sort of?
Oh, you get some of them that are scared and stuff, and
just as we've moved into this, like even in the last 5-10 years, we've really moved into these milk alternatives. And
you probably
do you get any kickback from that?
Well, they're probably too young to really argue with you, but you get some of them like I don't drink milk. Or,
really?
But once with a class out once, and there'd be a kid that would be like a wee bit learning support. I think her mother came as
with her,
like a teaching aid with them, and she was petrified of cows.
Really?
And we had like a cow that was shown a bit, and I had her she was mega quiet, so I had her tied up, and they could all come up and pet her, and the kids weren't bothered. They all came up and gave her a big pet, and it was fine. And then this mother, who was totally petrified, some of the other adults were like, "When you go, just go up and touch her," and she was. You could see her shaking when she came up, and then when she started petting her, she burst into tears.
Oh my
lovely!
Goodness.
I know. I thought it was really nice. Just that
the impact.
The emotion.
Yeah.
I think you said it.
We take that for granted. I think.
I was going to say, we don't really appreciate it in any sort of because it's just the norm.
Aye.
It's like when people come around the auction, even when I take induction of new staff within other companies, and they come around, they think the auction's the most exciting part, and I can't understand what the auctioneer's saying and all that kind of stuff, and it's just the norm to us. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
But we do the impact that animals can have on people, and it's phenomenal. Yeah. You can see that some of the hospitals bring in dogs, and it's they're amazing.
Because you just did your was it an HYB event thing on Sunday?
On Sunday, yeah.
And some of them were quite little.
Yeah.
Kids getting into.
They were just little totes, some of them, and they're just loving it. We just did showmanship, and it was just a fun day, but a training to get. And some of them families have never really done shown, but it was as much I think mum and dads enjoyed it as well. Yeah.
I see the cows up anyway for a wee judging competition.
That was for them. Yeah, it was quite. It was and we did a little bit about anatomy and bits and I was trying to make it easy. Do you get it right or not?
I don't know. I prefer Footloose to Shakira. So I don't know what you went.
I went. Actually, I said that in the ring. We had Shakira and Footloose, and then there was Suzette and what was Michael's cow?
I didn't look at it long enough to get them all.
What was Michael's cow? I forget what Mike. And then there was two older type of. Yeah, and I said that. I said on the picture, you could probably put Footloose first. Yeah. But I didn't.
But you bottled it.
Yeah, well, you could in the on the pictures I put up there, you could give reasons for Footloose.
Aye.
So do you still do a bit of showing now?
Only Dumfries and Moffat, and then our like the evening show at Castle Douglas.
So you're not entered for UK Dairy Expo?
No.
We were talking about the milk and yearling class on the Expo podcast.
Yeah, we've got
the first year we did the milk and yearling class. Guess who won it?
And you retired.
Guy here, aye.
He did it, And then I thought,
tapped out at the top.
And then but that was a milk and yearling class from December born calves. This year it's milk and yearling class from March 24-month-old, and I thought, well, Willie will come back because he probably calves them young.
Oh, young, aye.
And he didn't enter.
He didn't enter.
That's the wrong type now. So. To be fair, that
You have the wrong type now. He's admitted that on camera.
wrong type for the show.
Wrong type for that job.
No,
Yes.
honestly, you should really see for them that young heifer class. I think you probably have an animal that could look pretty good. I think, yeah. It's a different. They're so. If you have them well developed at that age, you should have a look at it. Because it's quite difficult getting them to 24 months old. Well, they'll have to calve at
22 probably.
22. So it's
No, that
I introduced that class for you, Willie.
was it.
And you had to receive your
I
entry.
didn't want to put you any pressure and call you up and say you have to. But no, but Willie won the first milk and yearling class.
Oh, so you'll have to come back in 2025.
Yeah.
Selector.
We'll see.
Whatever happened? That was quite an animal. What happened? Was there
She
a bit of
she did really well. I don't know. She just never carved in her second time. The udder just wasn't as good. Yeah. She did go on. She went excellent. Did.
Oh, well, she was quite an animal.
She was a doorman out of the Barbie family.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So she just sadly she just went away about a month ago.
Well, she was of her age.
And even we had dried her off, and thinking that she was in calf, like she'd been scanned in calf, and then dried her off, and she was always a stroke cow, so she just went straight into the calving pen, and then maybe a couple of weeks later, someone was jumping on her and checked her again, and she wasn't. So
interesting. What's the future for Hillhead Farm? Another 10 robots, or?
Oh, you never know. I don't know. It's ticking along quite well just now. There are a couple of wee things we're working on for the next year, like just maybe altering a few sheds and things, but aye.
In it for the long run, quite happy.
What's the biggest challenge? Like in Europe at the minute, I would say Europe's kind of on fire, isn't it? Have you noticed all the Spanish farmers and French farmers and Germany and Belgium? They're all really up in arms, aren't they? And they're obviously facing a lot of challenges, and they're completely in disagreement with.
Even in Wales, I think they're a bit the same.
I would say the whole of Europe, and Ireland's the same. There's just a lot of the policymakers have kind of, they've lost track of what farmers are for and food production and food security. What do you think the biggest challenges are, Willie, for the next 2, 5, 10 years in farming?
Well, I don't know. It's a concern, that the whole carbon issue at the moment. I'm no way a climate change denier or anything, but some of the things I think that as farmers that we've been asked to do, I think we've been doing such a good job with managing the countryside and environment for a millennia. Yeah. And for us to take all the flack, it's coming our way is a wee bit harsh.
No, it's not a wee bit harsh. It's completely and utterly wrong.
Aye. Completely
and utterly wrong. And I think if you analyse the data, even just single out the dairy industry, for example, and if you think of the reduction in cow numbers purely through efficiencies that we've achieved, and there's many more efficiencies that we've already achieved that haven't even been calculated. No other industry has achieved those sort of figures, and they're sort of making us out to be this industry that needs to be changed dramatically, when there's many other industries that are and also the calculation of methane how it's calculated is completely wrong as well. When it's a 10 to 12 year cyclical greenhouse gas, and it's not carbon dioxide that's up there for 1,000 years. All of these things are being ignored, and that's when I think the whole European industry is, and us as well. I think we're sleepwalking into a situation where our policymakers aren't really focused on food security and a healthy farming industry, and I think we possibly are in for issues down the road, in my opinion.
Aye, well, it's a concern, but my worry is that they come up with, synthetic food quicker. There'll be like factories that will grow food. It's happening like indoor farms.
Those places are going bankrupt. Look.
I was going to say, do you really think that'll? Because like when you talk about milk, like was it Oatly? They went bankrupt, didn't they?
These companies are going bankrupt, left,
or
right,
into
and centre.
administration.
Into administration, and there's no appetite. During COVID, when the shelves were empty or not full, if you walk past this sort of stuff,
it was still there, I know.
So what I'm saying is there's no appetite for it, and from a human health point of view, it's not. People realize we have to get away from processed food in general, and all of this other stuff is completely processed. So I don't think there's a long-term future for that at all.
No, hopefully. Right.
I'm confident. People, I have a lot of faith in humanity. People are clever. They're switched on. They're not going to be. They won't be fooled by this nonsense. I don't believe.
I think they need to get they haven't got their carbon calculation, the way of calculating it and way of recording things properly down to a T.
I think that's frustrating as well.
That is frustrating because I think farmers are possibly getting slammed for. It's a bit of a sort of tar everyone with the same brush.
Aye.
They've not got it.
Well, we've been asked to reduce our carbon as well, but then, if there's other farmers, like we, as a co-op farmer, we've been doing our carbon footprint for the last 12 years and trying to bring it down all the time, and then you're getting hammered with this. We have to reduce it even further still.
Yeah, where does it stop?
Aye. And then I worry as well, if you're getting, where is this carbon reduction, like where is it going? Is somebody claiming that carbon reduction and taking it as a carbon credit and selling it to someone? It's just...
Because I don't know how it's recorded with...
Your processor or your retailer could be doing that.
Well, they could be. I don't know.
Yes, but these are the...
I know.
Because I don't know how it's recorded, but when all my experience of carbon auditing and things like that in like beef more than dairy is my basic understanding when they started doing it like maybe 10 years ago. If you recorded a farm that bought everything in, like straights, everything to feed cattle, you were actually a lower carbon footprint calculated than someone that was growing all their own, because the carbon footprint that is gone with producing barley or whatever is with the farmer that grew that. So once it comes onto your farm.
No, it's so difficult, I know.
Same with so I don't know if it's a case with like a flying herd, because it's on animals, it's basically the number of days they're...
Well, I maybe shouldn't say, I'll get pulled up in the coals with the co-op, but like for the last 2 years, we've had the highest replacement rate in the co-op figures.
Yeah.
But we haven't, because it's the replacement rate they have taken from the number of heifers that have calved in as a percentage of your herd. It doesn't take into account the number that they sell. Even though we do that, you fill in all the data that you've sold so many, but they think that we've got a terrible...
That's where I get concerned about when they're calculating things. They're not actually assessing the data and understanding the data correctly, are they? They're interpreting it incorrectly. And it can come out, and before you know it, you've got things being, thrown about all over the place, and we're apparently being compared to like a jet engine when it comes to producing gas. And
I'm a wee bit wary of some of these feed additives that are coming in that are meant to be methane reducing. like the data set behind them, is it big enough? Is it reliable enough? How they...
Lots of claims.
Yeah, I mean,
Lots
they
of
put
claims.
a cow into a tent and gauge its methane. And
Yeah.
I mean, we all know there's so many different things for day to day that can affect how the cow ruminates and everything. So
Yeah. Just seems a massive focus on, and it just seems wild to me that the huge focus on reducing the impact on the environment is based on the food that feeds the people within the environment and not...
And from that focus, then you get all this sort of like rewilding and the government sort of putting a lot of money into that sort of stuff, and it's completely crazy. But that will go full circle pretty quickly, and you can't have productive land that's not producing food, on a globe that's populations that's increasing all the time.
how do you feel? We've just across the motorway from us, and we've had some land that we own over there. There's a solar farm that's going to be going there. It'll be taken up. Well, it was proposed initially we were going to be talking about 2,000 acres. And I think it's going to be about 1,000 acres of pretty. It's maybe not.
Yeah, decent land.
It's decent land. It has been farmed for a lot of years. It's not like wasteland. And that's it. Pretty much taken out of the equation.
Is that all on Buccleuch?
No. It's all privately owned.
All privately owned.
Yeah.
Can they not even like graze sheep or anything under them?
I guess you'll be able to graze sheep.
So it's still not completely out of.
But it's not.
You won't be able to graze it as hard as you would. You can only be able to fertilise it or anything.
No, you won't. No, it'll be very much organic land.
Well, yeah.
Basically, won't it? Because you can't really do anything to it once they're on. But yeah, it's striking the balance, isn't it? Because
it's exactly getting the balance right. Yeah.
Because let's face it, the number one thing that we're always going to need is food.
Aye.
Whether
we've got energy or not, we can't survive without.
Glyn's getting plenty, so.
See that? Hazel did that last night as I took the second helping.
You'll need to take him out running with you.
That's the shin splints.
Good.
That has been really good, Willie.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for coming in. I think I enjoyed the milk. I was a bit nervous about what you're going to be serving up, Laura. So that was quite interesting. At least we didn't say trail flat milk was oat milk.
Average.
As long as it wasn't, there's no trail flats antibiotic milk, is it?
Well, it did come out of a bucket.
Right.
I'm only joking.
No, thanks very much, Willie, for coming in to the one and only. And thank you, Laura.
Yes, thank you, Glyn.
So, what do you think of that?
That was really interesting. I've learned things about Willie that I did not know.
Running,
yeah. 3 times marathon runner.
That is incredible, isn't it? And his work with the schools.
Yeah, which is really, really, really cool.
Very important. And not enough of us really get involved in that, probably, yeah?
No.
That aspect of it.
No, so I think unless you're willing to put yourself out there and educate, and get involved in that type of thing, it's difficult for you to call out and say we're not doing enough or we're not doing this if you're not going to get involved. And
give up the time. Time is your biggest sort of asset, isn't it? And
yeah.
He's obviously given up his time to do that, so it's great. And I was wanting to find out a bit more about how his whole herd has evolved over the years at Hillhead. And that was kind of interesting. He's breeding a really functional cow now that gives a lot of milk and performs exceptionally well in the robots. So.
And controversially, he said it's maybe not the type that you like in the ring. No.
Yeah, possibly right, but I think you have to do what's right for your business.
Absolutely.
And he's running a great business there. So we could have got into. I love talking about the genetics, and we could have talked a lot more about that, but I sensed that you were getting.
You get carried away.
You were getting bored with that, I thought.
Well, it's like a foreign language when you get really, really. She was a doorman out of a apple. And her grandmother was a footloose.
She's learning the names. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She thinks she's learning the names. But no, that would have been. We could have talked a lot more about that. Was Willie's going down a road that's really quite interesting. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, very good. Thanks for listening to the One and Only podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe to never miss out on an episode. And you've been listening to the one and only Glyn Lucas.
and you've been listening to the one and only Laura Millar.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.